south side is going to warm up first just because that's the side that's going to end up with the sun on it first. So by doing that, we'll collect earlier in the day if we tap on the south side. If we tap on the north side, we'd have to be here until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I don't want to be. Okay? I like to leave at 5. So, we tap on the south side so that we can collect earlier in the day. You're going to collect the same amount of sap. It doesn't matter where on the tree you actually tap it. There are some years that we've got all sorts of snow on the ground that when we go and tap our trees, we find our buckets are up here just because of the amount of snow on the ground. Right? So, if that happens and that, you know that I didn't do it, because I can't reach way up there. But it actually makes it harder to go through and collect your sap afterwards. Normally what we do to actually have a look, I'll get you Christy in just one sec. To have a look in that you can actually use these plastic buckets here, and then you can see the level in the sap. Using metal buckets, we have to walk up to every individual bucket, looking into it, nope, I don't need to collect that. So we have to physically walk through all 500 to 600 trees.
So why don't you use the plastic buckets then?
When we store them in that outside in the evaporator, with the temperatures and that getting so cold, we find that they crack and they break on us and that more times than that over the winter. So when we go and put them up again in the spring, I've got to buy another 50 of them. These we can keep around for almost forever.
How far do you go before you tap?
And that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And that doesn't matter. If I had a ladder and I wanted to tap way up there, I could.
Would you get the same amount?
Yep. And that, again, later on in the day, because the sap is traveling from the root all the way up to the buds at the very tips of the branches. So it just depends on when you want to collect again.
So it's just more convenient to have it at this height.
So whichever 6 weeks.
I can reach it.
Yeah, you can reach it.
Okay? Way up there, for 500 to 600 trees, I need a ladder for every tree.
Exactly.
So now I'm carrying buckets of sap plus a ladder.
Yeah?
No. Okay? So we'll put it down that makes it easier for us and that to actually quickly look, yep, collected or not. So it's handier in that it's just around there. It's also easier when you're drilling in, that you're also using your body to lean against it so that you can get the drill to go far enough into the tree. Okay?
And which are the 6 weeks that you do this?
And that you start in the middle of February and we go through until beginning to mid-April.
Oh.
Okay? So it's whenever we end up with below 0 temperatures or below freezing at night, above freezing during the day. That freezing and thawing starts to sap from the root up inside.
But this February was very cold, right?
And that it was, yes.
Yeah.
We basically, this has been a terrible maple syrup season. And that we have collected in that half the amount of sap we did last year.
Oh.
Okay? Which means syrup production this year all over our province is down.
So the prices are up.
They're going to go up.
So what's new? What's new?
Next year's syrup, and by the way, whenever you purchase maple syrup, you are always buying last year's product.
Oh.
Alright? The syrup in that they're making now, they will keep in that until November, December, then they'll start selling that off. So this stuff in that you would purchase in that this January, February, and so on, would have been syrup that they made last year. Okay? So you're always buying a year behind. Maple syrup will actually keep for 3 years in your fridge, 10 years in your freezer. And it will not freeze solid. It'll pour out like cold motor oil. So you can always just keep a smaller container in your fridge and put the larger container into your freezer. Okay? Now, if you're anything like me, it doesn't stick around for 3 years anyway. It's lucky if I got it around for 3 weeks. Okay? So, let's go into a little bit about the history of it. So come on to the very first fence over here, and we'll show you how the First Nations discovered it.